Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. I am going on vacation tomorrow and I'm going to an art retreat. I'm actually going to the Inktober Art Retreat, so I'm really excited for that. And I thought it'd be fun to do a video where I show you what I'm bringing, and then when I come back, I will finish the video off showing what I actually used. So you're watching this, you're going to see both parts because I will have returned back from the Inktober Art Retreat by the time that this video goes live on YouTube. So the first thing I'm going to bring would be markers, and I decided I would bring my Art Beak set of 262. And the reason, a couple of reasons for this. For one, there's a lot of very similar colors in here. So if I'm using, say, like a tan and I run out, there'll be another color that will be very similar. I've got these all swatched on the markers themselves. It's a good set of grays in there. And there's so many here that if somebody wants to borrow some, wants to use them too, I have plenty to share. And they're fairly inexpensive, so if any go missing, I'm not going to stress out about it. I'm not going to worry about it, right? So yeah, I got my swatches here. I have everything I need. There's also even a black and a white pen in there, so if I run out of my other black and white pens, I got a little backup there. And then right in this case, I'm going to put this set of Ohuhu fine liners. It's got colored and black ones, so I mean, that's plenty. That's plenty. And I'm going to put this sketch marker sketchbook, which I've really been enjoying using. I'm really used to it, and I feel like I can get most of the techniques that I enjoy using on this paper. So, yeah, I'm happy with this paper. I think I'll just use this. Why not? And I did put a little, I forgot to like put something behind this cupcake when I did it, and it leaked to the other side. So, I did throw in a little sheet there. So I'm going to bring those for markers. And I kind of debated whether I want to bring a smaller set, but I know if I brought a smaller set, I probably would use up some of the colors. And this way, I'm not going to worry about it. They're not precious, they're fine, they're not my favorites, but they get the job done and they're not going to hinder me. So I'm going to bring those for markers. That's probably the most extra thing I'm bringing. I'm not sure if I'm going to bring this or not. I'll have to tell you when I come back. The reason why I kind of want to bring it is because I only have a few pages left, and so it'd be nice to finish off this sketchbook, and also because they're bigger sheets. So if I want to do a larger landscape, I have this larger paper for when I want to use watercolors. The reason I might not want to bring it is that I have hundreds of hours in this sketchbook, and if something happened to it, I would be really upset. So I'm probably going to leave it home, but I'm thinking about bringing it. I also got another black pen. You know, God forbid I run out. I've got another black pen there. So that's on the maybe pile. And then everything else I'm going to bring is in my Grumbacher backpack. I love this because I can wear it. It's got a stool built into it, and it's just wonderful. So I'm going to move it off the camera and kind of pull out what I'm going to bring. This also contains something that's a maybe. This is my other maybe item. This is my Ohuhu sketchbook that is, I have a couple of these sheets in there too, that is, I'd say about 9 by 9. And I like the paper a lot. It's really reliable. It's a pretty good size, but it's big. It's not very heavy, but it is a bigger book, so I don't know if I want to bring this. I do know there's going to be a goodie bag there, so I'm not going to run out of paper, even if I fill out and finish up my other books. So this is a maybe. I'm probably going to leave this home because, I mean, I kind of almost think, also kind of think one of my motivations for wanting to bring these two books is because I have quite a few finished pages in them and I can show off, but it's like, I don't need to show off to these people. We're all there to learn. So I'm probably going to leave these two home. That's where I'm leaning right now. I'll have to let you know when I get back. So this right here, I was just going to bring this empty and fill it up as I go, but I realized this is already perfectly filled up for going on a short hike or going on a hike where I want my hands free. So, and I don't feel like carrying much in. I found this tip from Alice Lim on YouTube. She's an urban sketcher, and she actually had the compressed towels, but my husband had a bunch of these compressed washcloths in the camping gear, and this is so good for wiping off your water brush. It is so absorbent. It's absorbent like a paper towel, and it will take so much water, and you can keep reusing them. They'll look gross, but you can keep reusing them. Last time I went out on the paddleboard to paint, I had this sock where I cut the toe off of, but I don't know, it's not as absorbent as like the little towel or as a washcloth, so I don't know. I'm going to leave it in there because it fits, but I'll show you what else is in here. I've got this little sketchbook that's almost finished. I've only got like 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Maybe I might have some like that one, but that had so much transfer on it. I don't know if I'll do the other side of that. That's unfinished. But I think I'm going to bring that. It fits in the bag. I will finish it off, and I have another little sketchbook I can put in there to finish as well. It only has a couple pages. I want to show you this. So this little guy here. I've been using this a lot for plein air, for like when I'm hiking, and I was almost out of my magenta, so I actually took a slice, and I didn't have time to, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. I didn't have time to squirt paint in here and let it dry. So what I did was I just sliced off Cheap Joe's American Journey watercolor crayons and put them in here because I wanted a yellow ochre. I had another red that was kind of too similar. It was kind of in between that red and that red. So I dug that out and put it back in. I put it in an empty half pan in with my Sennelier palette, because when I filled this palette, I just put Sennelier tube colors I had, but then I was realizing that was ridiculous because I was missing colors I needed, and it became very apparent after a few trips out with this. So I dug out that red. I put in a slice of yellow ochre crayon. I put in a slice of rose madder to replace the quinacridone rose that I'd used up that I didn't have time to let dry. And this is not enough mixing space. Even using water brushes, it's not enough for me. So let me show you how this works and what I did. I took this piece of paper, and it's just a piece of watercolor paper. I did a little swatch and I laminated it. I laminated it with packing tape. I didn't even get the laminator out because I'm you know, we're close down to the wire here. I need to get my stuff packed, and so then I can put this here and have this extra mixing area. And yeah, you just clip it on your sketchbook and you work on the opposing page, which is really great. I like it. This one, I don't recommend this particular one because I had to resin my mixing palette because it was just like painted wood. And it was like 20 bucks, which I thought was a great deal at the time. But honestly, because the regular price was 40, this is worth maybe $5. I found a better set on Amazon, and if I can find it, I will actually, let me grab it and I'll show it to you. I think I showed it to you when I bought it, but you might not have seen that video, so let me just run over here. I found this. This was $20. I think it might be like 23 or 24 now. This is a way better deal, and it's a way better palette. So I paid 20 for that. I'm using it. It's fine. It's compact. It's small. Whatever. But this is way better. This is so this is great because you get 2 in a box. So if you are making like art gifts for people, this is so nice. It opens up like this. It has the same clip, but it's got half pans in it. I don't think you can. I'll need to reglue that back in. Oh, that's good to know. But it's got plastic pans in there. I don't think, maybe you could get them out with a palette knife, but I'm not going to take them out because they fit that perfectly. So much more space, and just having that little bit of extra mixing area, I don't think I would need the laminated one I made. But anyways, this is so much nicer. The wood is nicer. That's like plywood. This is like actual wood, and it's lovely, especially if you had a bigger sketchbook. So I'm glad I had that little one for the smaller sketchbooks, but that's much better. You could do a couple pans with your most used colors. Yeah, I really like this, and instead of 2 for $24, I think it is now, that would be great. You could fill it up from your tube paints and give it to a friend with a little sketchbook that's getting into watercolor. I think that would just be such a darling gift. It's got hinges on the sides instead of magnets, which works for me. It does have a little magnet closure on it, but yeah, highly recommend this. Even if that does come unglued, it's not going to go anywhere if your thing is closed. So yeah, these are also very shallow. I mean, I guess this is shallow too, but yeah, I mean, they're both equally, actually this one looks like a little bit thicker, but that does not hold a lot of paint. The wells are very shallow in there, so maybe 1/8 of an inch deep. It's not deep at all, so you will have to refill frequently, but that'll get me through any hiking situations, I'm sure. I always end up bringing more than I need, it seems like. So I've got this in this little laminated card that I just made today because I realized that's my biggest problem with that, is that I don't have enough space to mix. And then let's see what else I have in here. I have got a little roll of tape. I probably won't use it, but if you do want to have a nice white border, it's handy, but I probably won't use it, but I've got room for it. I've got a couple of pieces of cut up credit card. I will use that. I might put those in the front because they're tiny. I've got an extra clip. I think I'll put that in the front as well, that little piece. And maybe I'll just put that little clip in the front as well. And I'll put my eraser in that front pocket as well. I've got a white gel pen. I've got a 0.7mm mechanical pencil. I've got my Derwent water brushes, which they're my favorite water brushes, but you know what? I'm going to say I used these with wet gouache once, and that was such a mistake because I feel like I need to take these apart and deep clean them after that little experiment. And then I've got a couple just line maker. They're just fine liners. So man, I'm not going to run out of pens, friends, because I got a 0.3 and a 0.8 here. And I like to use the thicker pens on watercolor paper because I can use them on their side and get a variation, and then it doesn't wear them down as quickly as the skinnier pens there. So that's what I have in there. That is going to be great for just if I know I want to, maybe I'm mostly going to be hiking and not doing a lot of sketching. I know that if I have that with me, then I can do some small sketching. And that will be sufficient. If I know we're going to like hike somewhere and paint for a while, then I'll bring something else. I'll bring this, but I might end up throwing it away. I don't know. All right, so that is my hiking fanny pack bag. Came from Storyland. I bought that once because I had my kids at Storyland and they were little, and it was just. It was busy. It's busy to have kids at an amusement park, and you want to have your hands free. So I got that for my wallet and my phone. All right, I have this kit here. I have like several full kits, it seems like, but you know what? I've been using this a lot for Inktober, and I really like it. This was the Inktober collaboration last year with Viviva. I don't know if they collaborated this year, but I like this paper. It's kind of delicate. It's hard to use with tape because it wants to rip, so you're better off just drawing your lines and doing that. But I like the paper. It's a nice watercolor paper. It works great for watercolor markers or the Viviva color sheets. And I don't work on the back side of this paper. I feel like it's a little too fragile for that. So, and also the way it's set up in this book, I'm only using one side. But let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages left of this. I actually have another pad from their previous Folio kit that I didn't like the Folio. They improved the Folio, so I got rid of the old Folio, and I'm saving the other sketch pad as a backup. Water brush right here. I gotta fill it up. And then instead of putting everything loose in here, it would always slide out. I just put a little pouch here, and I'll show you what's in there. Half of a laminated sheet for mixing if I need to with the color sheets. Just, oh, I thought this was pretty. I saved this from like a magazine. I think it was a Sam's Club flyer, but I like these little bows, and I thought that would be fun to do a sketch sometime, so I just stuck it in there. And this actually came with my flat compass, but I'll use that as a straight edge so I don't have to carry a ruler. I could stick that right in there, actually, with my flat compass. And then this is the Inktober prompt list. This is funny. I signed up for the Inktober mailing list because you get your prompt list like a week early. And so I printed that off when I got it. And then they advertised that retreat. And so I was like, oh, that sounds nice, upstate New York. And my husband's family's from upstate New York, so he was kind of excited about that. And I said, well, let me email them and see if like a non-painting partner can come, or someone who's going to do photography and not a lot of drawing, or someone who's not like calling themselves an artist. And they said that's absolutely fine. So he's going to go. He's coming with me, and I'll show you what I brought for him for art. But there's like a goodie bag there, so there will be some extra supplies, which is also kind of cool. But in here. And that's how I found out about it. But in here, I've got in the front pocket, I've got my flat compass. I've got one of those little towelettes, one of those little compressed washcloths, because it's so good for the water brush. I'm not crazy about the water brush that's in here. Oh, I do have a little ruler in there too. I'm not crazy about the water brush that came with this kit because it's starting to wear down. But, you know, it gets the job done. I can always grab one of the other ones if I want to. And then I got a couple of Viviva color sheets that I just kind of doctored up today because one of them, they recently, like in the last 2 years or so, they started making these fold out parts so you can mix colors on. But the fold out part on one of these was not protected at all, it wasn't waterproofed, and so it was just like paper, and it looked awful. So I cut that off, and I took a piece of that laminated card, and I just taped that in so I have a mixing area, because these are like Peerless watercolors. There's no mixing area on them. And then one is the fall set and one is the Vivid. I just added that to this because I like this better than the sheet that came with it. So I did that to both of them. And yeah, I might use up some of these colors on the trip because they say there's a half pan worth of color in these, but I don't know about that. I also have a Tombow Feud pen that's got the gray end and the black end. These are awesome. They come in a pack there's a 3-pack, and it's got a black soft tip, a black hard tip, and this dual-ended one for $5 on Amazon. It has been that price since I discovered these pens, which is probably a little over a year ago. I bought them as gifts for all my artsy friends, I think it's such a wonderful little set, and these pens are great. I just love how expressive they are. If you're somebody who wants a really fine line and tons of control, or has issues with hand pressure, they're not going to be for you. But if you like to have more like calligraphy strokes or expressive thick to thin strokes, painterly strokes, these are wonderful. And then I've got an extra small Pitt Artist Pen by Faber-Castell, little kneaded eraser, which is much better on this Inktober paper than a regular eraser. This does not like erasing. You've got to be gentle on this stuff. So this eraser works really well for that. A Mr. Pen white paint pen and a Uniball white pen. These are my two favorite white pens at the moment. The Mr. Pen comes in a pack of 6 for like $6.99. The Uniball Signo is oh, this one's getting low. You get a pack of 3 for $6 on Amazon. So, and these I find this is like the only white gel pen I'm able to use up before it dries out. I just have really good luck with this. It's a thicker white gel pen than say the Jelly Rolls, but I would say it's pretty equivalent to a 10 Jelly Roll, but I just find it more reliable here in my climate, which is Maine. Other people say that these don't last on them and the Jelly Rolls do, but those people tend to be more in like arid places like Arizona and Nevada, those areas. So depending on where you live, you're gonna have different results with different pens. And then honestly, I just use a mechanical pencil. So this is a 0.9 Bic mechanical pencil. So that'll do the trick for me. I'm not fancy. And I just kind of try to stick the eraser at one end so that it doesn't add too much bulk to this, because it won't close very well if it's too bulky. But this is just a little bag I got when I went to Craftsy to film my mixed media, my Mix It Up Mixed Media Step-by-Step class that I did with them. Or as I like to call it, how many keywords can we fit in the title of your class, Lindsay? That's still on Craftsy if you're a Craftsy member. Okay, so, and it's got a little, this came with this Manga 0.5 pen, it came with the color sheets, it came with the sketchbook, and it came with this water brush. So, kind of cool. I like this folio. Has a nice big pocket. The old one did not. The old one had little slots, and it did not hold much. And it has a magnet closure. I don't know if they still sell this one, but they do have one that's smaller that has like an elastic closure. But even though, like, I'm pushing it to the limits, it doesn't want to close every time, but it does a trick. I like it. It's working well for me. I can work a lot quicker in watercolor type media than I can with alcohol markers, so I do most of my quicker Inktober sketches in that, so I thought it'd be great to have for the Inktober retreat. And then I've got some sketchbooks I want to use up. This is, I've been using this for years. I am so sick of it. The paper's great. I just want to use it up. I just want to use it up. I started this in June 2018, and I do a few every year in it, but nothing too major, you know. And yeah, I've only got a few pages left. I want to finish it up. And let's see, what do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 pages plus the back cover. And I could probably flip through like that. That was a waterfall sketch. I know you can't tell. I sketched it in Bingham. Is it Bingham? Where they, or Pleasant Point, there's a huge waterfall. And I realized when I was there, I was like, I can't paint this while I'm here in the time. But I have a few pages I can go back and actually fill in where I was only working on one page, one side if I need to, or not, because I'm kind of ready to be done with this sketchbook. I'm not crazy about a lot of the work that's in there, so I kind of just, I'm sick looking at it. For my husband, I actually brought this little set of 6 sketching pencils and a new eraser. He can use any of my paper. I think it's funny when I flip through a sketchbook and I find one of his drawings in there. He draws these little faces, and his name's Jason. Mr. Frugal's name is Jason, and so he calls them his Jace faces. And so they're cute. They're cute. Anyway, it's a little set of sketching pencils that it's not going to be anything I'll be heartbroken about if they get lost or broken or whatever. But they're nice enough that he can do his drawing with them, and that'll be good. I was going to bring my vintage Faber-Castell pencils for him to use, 900 series from like, I don't know, the 90s, maybe the 80s, but then I'm like, no, I would feel bad if I lost those because they've been with me for so long. And let's see, I'm going to bring my portable painter. This is my Ride or Die. I actually have another one that's empty that I'm going to be filling up. I'll be making a duplicate palette in it basically to bring with me to France next year. But this is, if I've got time to go somewhere and paint, I love to have this because I'm not going to add to it because I don't have time to let things dry, and honestly, I don't think I'm going to use anything up in the time that I'm gone. But yeah, I've got my basic colors. I can mix whatever I want. I got some granulators for fun effects, and yeah. this bag was pretty much already packed up, so I didn't have to do too much, which is great. And when I was thinking about what do I want to bring, you know, it's like, oh, I could bring my French easel and bring my pastels or bring my oils or do this or do that. And it's like, no, Lindsay, you've got a week and it's going to fly and you'll get more done if you have less decisions you need to make. What else do I have phrased up? Oh, let's see. I've got a little sketch of like a little stash of sketchbooks because I want to finish some things up. I also had this in my bag and I figured why not just leave it in there. I wanted to bring something for colored pencils, but I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to bring, but I decided, and that's a swatch to go with my portable painter, in case you're wondering what's in there. I decided I would bring my set of 24 Chrome Flows by Derwent, and I do have an extra Prismacolor white in there because the whites always go quickly. This is my Chromaflow white. It's teeny weeny. I've got a clear blending marker, Color Splendor, for blending. Like sometimes I like to do colored pencils on top of like alcohol marker or on top of watercolor, and if it's too grainy looking, like on the watercolor paper, I'll use this clear marker to smooth it out. There's another one of my 0.9 mechanical pencils, another gel pen. Yeah, I took out the trays because I could fit more in here without the trays in there. And this tissue in here is just for like protecting the points of the pencils. And also I could wipe my brush on it if I need to. But there's that. And then I have another set of black fine liners just in case I need them. I'm actually going to put that swatch inside there just so I can lose it. And I do have a pencil sharpener in here somewhere we'll get to for Jason's pencils and my colored pencils if I need to sharpen them, which I probably will, but I probably won't do much with pencils. It's nice to have some wax-based pencils though, just for highlighting or fixing mistakes, blending, things like that. So I did want to have them, and the Chromaflows are really good for that, and that 24 set is a nice size. I also have a bug spray and sunblock. We're going to be in upstate New York. It's like the climate we have here in Maine. Ticks are bad, so I want to make sure that I don't come home with Lyme disease or anaplasmosis. I just want to come home with lots of art, but none of the nasty tick-borne illnesses. And if people are not from the area, and you know, I'll have plenty in here to share. 40% DEET. We're not screwing around with ticks after my husband had anaplasmosis. So I'll have it with me. I'll have plenty to share. And then same with the sunscreen. This is this year's. I just bought that this summer, so I want to make sure that I use it. Now let's look at the sketchbooks that I want to finish up. This is the other one I can tuck in my fanny pack when I use up, after I use up the watercolor paper. This one has also been in use since 2018, and I'm quite frankly ready to put it behind me. I only have like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So we could definitely put that one to bed. This one is one I never really liked, but I like the fact that it's landscape, and I think that might even fit in the fanny pack too. But man, I would love to actually just sit down and do some landscapes with this. And even if I'm just doing pen and ink. I bought this at Fiddleheads. I had high hopes. For whatever reason, I just never really got on with it. There's nothing wrong with it. So I'm hoping that I can, you know, get that spark back with that sketchbook. And this one I did not like, but I'm hoping I can use it for something. Someone might give me a great idea. But anyways, I do not like accordion books, but I kind of like to use it up. So this was a review for, this came in a subscription box. That's why I have it. You're like, probably like, why'd you buy that if you don't like accordion books? It came in a Smart Art box with Royal Talons Art Creation paints, which are actually pretty good for a budget paint. So I just used it enough to do a review on it, and it's very meh. But I thought, I don't know, maybe I'll do some like really big panoramic scene, and maybe I won't. I don't know. Somebody said maybe you could auction off your sketchbooks that just have a couple sketches in that you don't like. I'm like, who the heck would want to buy that? Not me. And then this just has random offcuts. Like these are for like watercolor bookmarks. I think these are 100% cotton actually. I think they're cutoffs from B watercolor paper from making round blocks, and you have that like cut off. And then I've got a bunch of just I think these are Hana Mule postcards. So yeah, I feel like doing something that is not, that I don't want to be in a sketchbook, or maybe somebody wants to try some watercolors. I can be like, hey, work on some postcards. That way they won't be in my sketchbook and they can take them with them. So stuff to share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is good. All right. In this we have two. I love this bag. I had one for about 25 years and it just like the zippers finally just gave it the ghost. They were rusting, kind of like oxidizing and stuff. And I got it from my sister's shop. And so she has, this is kind of a brief aside, but my sister has, when she was in high school, my parents opened up an arts and crafts shop in their lumber company hardware store, and let her, you know, run it and named it after her for like during her high school. And so that's where my bag came from. And then I had mentioned to her that, oh, I wish I could find that bag again, but it's long time discontinued. And so for my birthday this year, she actually had one in her store and she gave it to me. And so I got a brand new one. I'm so excited. In the side pocket, I'll have my drinking water, which I can also use to fill up my water cups on my portable painter. On the front pocket, I've got tissues. I've got a flat compass because, you know, I usually wouldn't have this with other stuff. I've got a bandana. I've got a wine cork, as you never know. I like to partay when I'm painting, I guess. I've got this little pencil sharpener with an eraser built in. I've got a sea sponge for texture, which I hardly ever use. I got a hunk of wax for resist, which I use very occasionally. I've got a couple clips, and this is the worst tape ever, and it does not stick very well, but I might be able to use it. I can use it to if I'm not working too wet, I can use it to keep a border, and then I'm just trying to use it up. Dollar Tree washi tape, that's fine. It's not even really washi tape, and I've got a couple credit card scrapers. Then on the side pocket, I've got this sharpener with it's got a nice catcher and it's newer, so it's sharper. I was going to give that one to Jason. These are my favorite travel brushes. They're the Cheap Joe's Pseudo Sable. Honestly, the number 12 round is the only one you need. It's got such a great point. I've had it for years, not really showing much signs of wear and tear, and I use them every time I have this bag out. But I keep the whole kit together because I'm less likely to lose a kit like this as I am to lose one brush. And I honestly have more than I need in here, but I'll just go through and show you what else I have. Because, I mean, it's not really adding much weight. It's not really taking up much space, so, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, I do go rummaging through and using these things, so. And I have all those flat compasses because they came in a package of 12 for like 10 bucks, or to buy one it was like $6, so I'm like, well, I know I want more than one, so. Oh goodness, just lost the brush. So a lot of this stuff is kind of like DIY and handmade and stuff, so. Alright, so let's look at this. Okay, I've got a liner brush. This is one of my prototype liners for my brush set that I hid out with Craft Ammo, so it's an extra one, so I have that one in the side of my bag. It's really handy to have a nice long rigger brush, and that there's like some slots on the side of my bag where these longer things can go. I love this brush. It's a 3/4 inch angle. This one's by Fab Art. I don't know if that company is still in business anymore, but it's just your run-of-the-mill 3/4 inch Taklon brush. I like it because I can get the tip of this brush in my half pans, and I can kind of almost get in there and just squiggle it around to get my paint, and then it doesn't damage your bristles. But this angle is great for rocks, it's great for skies, it's great for everything. So these two brushes, love having those in there. You can do most everything you need with a number 12 round. Oh, hopefully, was that even in frame? I'm sorry. This is probably way more in depth than you want to go. As I was saying, this is probably more in depth than you want to go over my travel art supplies. And as I said that, I actually ran out of time on my camera and it shut off. So yeah, I'm definitely going into too much depth, but maybe you need to put something on to go to sleep at night. I don't know. So I got those two brushes. I've got another Tombow Feud pen, which it's waterproof, it's alcohol marker proof. These are wonderful. This is, I think this is the hard tip. I prefer the hard tip to the soft tip, but I like them both. You know, they're not that different, honestly, but the hard tip I feel like I can get a smooth, thinner line. Maybe I'm a little heavy-handed, that could be why. My favorite Uniball pen. Yep, those are in the side pockets, because I'm always grabbing for those, so they're right there where I can get them really easily. And then this brush here is I ordered these brushes. They said they were synthetic water brushes, and they were like Chinese calligraphy water brushes, and they said synthetic. And so I ordered them, and then when I got them, I'm like, I don't think these are synthetic. And this one was broken, like it had, like, it was shattered, the water part was shattered. And so I contacted the seller, and they offered me a refund on the broken brush. I'm like, okay, but at that point I wasn't convinced that these were not synthetic because it said they were synthetic. And so what I did was I just took it apart, and then I just glued it to the handle, because it was a nice brush, carried tons of water and paint, so I liked it. Then I had another brush from the kit that had white hairs in it, and I put it away wet and let it in my bag, and I uncapped it when I was in the car. I was riding down to the botanical gardens last summer. My husband was driving, and we were going to the paint days. And I took the cap off, and it smelled like the biggest, hairiest, wettest dog had just been unleashed in the car. It just reeked. It smelled so bad. I'm like, oh, these are not synthetic. They're like goat hair, I think, and I think maybe, or wool, and I think maybe because with those types of brushes, I don't think they kill the animal to make them, they just trim the hair, like, you know, for a wool sweater and stuff. So I think that maybe is why they don't have to call them, I don't know, there was a mistake in the listing anyway, so that stunk so bad that I had to get rid of that brush. It was so bad. This one does not smell when it's wet, so maybe this one's synthetic. I don't know, but I just wanted to say, I'm not going to link to these because I don't want to recommend them, but as far as a big juicy brush, it works great, and that's in the side pocket. And the rest of these are just kind of those are in the slots, these are in the side pockets. This is the brush that used to come with the portable painter before they started adding in the skinny pans. I don't really like this brush that much, but it's better than nothing. And so I'm just leaving it in there because otherwise I don't know what I'd use it for. It's not really that great of a brush. I'm so glad they got rid of the brushes and started doing pans to fit in that slot. This brush, these actually all came from Jerry's Artorama. They're the best or bestie line of brush. And they came like this. And I think I had 3 of them. Maybe, did I have 3 or just 2? They were like this, right? This is how they came. And it's like, what a silly design. I bought them because I wanted to cut them in half and turn them into travel brushes. So, oops, I'm going off camera again. So this is how they were. And I'm thinking there might have been another one, but I don't, if there was, I don't know what I did with it. I think there was, and they were skinnier. They were smaller brushes. Maybe we'll see them in our travels today. I don't know. I don't think so because we're about the end of my stuff I'm bringing. But anyways, I cut them in half. I tried to sharpen them, but I couldn't really sharpen them to a fine point. So I still have to use my credit card scrapers for my scratching of marks. But they're actually pretty decent. What I ended up doing was I ran the brushes on sandpaper to flag the bristles a bit to make them, because these were acrylic brushes. But it's like, what do you do with a dual-ended acrylic brush? You can't put them in a cup, like, to store them. You gotta, like, lay them flat. So anyway, I made myself some short-handled flat and round brushes that way, and they work great. So I have them, even though I don't really need them, with having this angle brush and the cheap Joe's ones, they fit in the pocket. They're not taking up any extra room, so there they stay. And then I don't know where this came from, but it was just getting lost in some brush cups. So I'm like, well, I'm putting it in my travel stuff. Might as well. Somebody can use them if they need to. Another glorious 0.9mm Bic mechanical pencil. I think that was also in the a side sleeve there. Another generic water brush. I think it might have been one of the ones from the old Viviva kit. A pencil extender, which actually should be in with my pencils. I'll put that there. And then, oh, this is the cap for this brush, which, you know, the tragedy with these is that you need to have them wet to fit them in the caps, but if you put them away wet, they're going to reek like a wet dog. At least the white ones do. The tan one seems to be alright. I got an old toothbrush for spattering techniques. I've got, I think I talked about all this other stuff. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm bringing. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. I also thought about bringing this book, but I don't think I will. This is a field guide to American houses, and I want to work on my architecture, but I don't think, maybe this is it. Maybe I'll bring it. I don't know. I want to also bring a book to read because I haven't been able to focus and settle down and read a book forever, so I think that might be a nice time to do that when I'm not working. Oh, I'm going to bring my reading glasses too, because I have these prescription reading glasses done at Zenny, and they're so much nicer when you're sitting and focusing on drawing or painting for a long period of time than using my progressive, so I'm going to bring those as well. I'll just bring them in this case, and I'll put my progressives in here when I'm not wearing them. But there you have it, guys. I'll when we come back, I will tell you what I actually used, and I guess I'll show you the artwork that I made on the trip, and that will be in just a second. Okay, I am back from the Inktober Art Retreat. I had a great time, and now I'm going to show you what I brought, what I used from what I brought. And actually, I have to say that I used almost everything, which is great. The markers I did put away back in the room of hoard, but I used those not as much as I did the watercolor products, though. But let's just go through, and I'll show you. I use these quite a bit. These were very handy, especially because I was doing some urban sketching and like vintage sign painting and stuff. So these colored fine liners came in very handy for lettering, and so did the thinner ones. This was a great set to have. I highly recommend this because it just kind of, it's compact and it covers a lot of bases, and it's not very expensive. For the couple marker sketches I did for Inktober, I used a sketchbook. Let's see, so it was, well, I did 3 sketches. I did this one for fire, which was day 31. I didn't even know I was going to use that, but I was just doodling around with that for a couple minutes and I liked it, so I'm like, I'm just going to use that. And then I did that one for rush, and I did this one for remove, which goes to another sketch that I did. And this is just a little quick sketch I did because I messed up this page by not putting my little thing in there, so it bled through. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna do a quick little sketch of a car, and yeah, that's what I did there. And then I started to go through some of these pages and actually sketch on the back side and like just kind of add line work just to practice my line work. But just feeling a little rusty that day. But yeah, use this and the markers. But for taking up that much space and that much weight, for only doing those few sketches, it probably was not the best use. Like, that's probably what I used the least, with the markers in this sketchbook. But I was glad I had it, but I certainly did not need to be bringing like the bigger, this one here, which I didn't bring. And I'm glad I didn't, because I definitely did not need that. The thing I used the most, I'm just going to move this bag down, we'll get to that in a minute. The thing I used the most was this folio right here. I added, I don't know if I showed you before, I added this laminated sheet to it, which was so handy because I could use the edge for like making my borders. I'll show you what I mean. Like here, I can use the edge, I would use that to draw like half, and then flip it around and draw the other half. So, and then I could also use this to scribble marker on and then pick up with another marker. So I did that quite a bit, and I could use it for mixing with my Viviva color sheets. So this was just really great to have. And I had painted a little, I used this to actually stick down a little bookmark piece of paper, a little piece of watercolor paper too, and paint that, and I just saved the tape because it was sticky enough to use again. So this was super handy. It's just a piece of laminated cardstock. And yeah, I have 1 sheet of paper left on this. I did finish 3 other sketchbooks, but this one has 1 sheet left. This, if I had to just pick one thing to do an Inktober retreat or even Inktober challenge, this would really do the trick. Because you've got your pen here, this came with a folio, this water brush, and then the Viviva sheets that all came with this from Viviva Colors. I'll put a link to this because it's great, and you can get refills for this pad, which is awesome. So in here, I've got my ruler and flat compass. I use, you know, they definitely were used, not a ton, but my little kneaded eraser, I use that all the time. A feud and a white pen, and then these 2 color sheets, and I think I told you I doctored these up. It's been like a week and a half since I filmed the beginning of this video, but that made all the difference, having a really nice mixing area. But I really like this setup. This is great for just sitting on the couch and doing some sketching, and that's something I'm going to try to do daily, because I liked finishing up sketchbooks and getting a lot done and seeing my skills get a little faster and improve a bit. Something that I added, and let's see, I know I have one that's brand new to show you somewhere on this table. It's right here. These are little towels. I think my husband got a pack of like 250 for like $12 back a few years ago. It's just camping, like a camping towel, and it's cotton, it's this cloth. And so what I did was I used it, so it gets like 9 by 9 or so, and I'd rinsed it out and let it dry, and I folded it up and stuck it inside this clear envelope. It's like a CD envelope, you know, that like you would put CDs or DVDs in. And I bought a bunch of these many years ago. I use them for storing different things, different ephemera and whatnot. But I cut a little window in here so that when I'm working, I can just kind of tuck this open and I can dab my water brush on it and stuff. And then when I'm done, I can just close the little flap and I can stick it back in here and it won't make anything wet. So this was a great find, using these little compressed towels. I got the idea from Alice Lim on YouTube, and it works great. So all this fits in a little pocket there. this is great. This is definitely something that is always going to be in my travel art kit because it works so well. I'll show you the books that I finished. I will do an Inktober wrap-up video, but that'll be eventually. I finished that sketchbook. I finished this sketchbook. And I finished this sketchbook. So I've been working on this Stillman and Bird book since like 2019. And, or 2018. Oh my gosh, since 2018. Same with this one. I bought these two at the same time. And, oh, there's a couple of signs that I did. I don't think I posted this on Instagram yet. Yeah, same here. So, from June 2018 to October 2023. So, these two are done. This one's done. I just started this one last year. But, yeah. It's done. 3 are done completely. And the other one from Paviva is almost done. So, I'm happy about that. I used a couple of little bookmarks from this tin that was in my travel book. So that was great. I did not use, oh, I'll show you the 3 things I didn't use. I did not use the bug spray, I did not use the sunscreen, and I did not use this accordion book at all. So these 3 things were the big losers of the trip. But I was glad I had this bug spray because I didn't know what the tick situation was going to be. I used my portable painter quite a bit. I need to refill it. It's pretty low. Actually, I didn't, these were in my bag. I didn't end up using these because I had the Ohuhu ones. So, but I had the Ohuhu ones with my markers, and I had these with my watercolors. So that's why I had that duplicate. But they're going to stay in that bag because that's my watercolor bag. These are just some, like a clear marker and some random colored pencils and a gray and black pen there. I used all of those. So that was handy to have. And let's see, I'll show you the colors that I used the most here in case you're curious. Because I got to refill it. Because I did a lot of urban sketching, I found that I used like these granulating colors quite a bit. These like Potter's Pink and different granulating violets. I use the cerulean blue a lot for the sky. I'm going to have to refill that. I use the quinacridone rose a lot, so I got to refill that. Ultramarine blue, obviously, you always use that a lot. And I use my greens a bit. But I don't think I want to top off that green. I think I want to go with a different green. Actually, I think that I'd rather have either olive green by Sennelier or sap green or something. I don't know. Those two are, I mean, they're fine. I use them. They're fine. Whatever. But yeah, definitely used up. Not used up, but I used cerulean a lot. I used the Potter's Pink, ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, Quin Rose a lot on this trip. And yeah. But you might find it interesting. I don't know. This is probably a boring video. I have no idea. And yeah, that's pretty much what was in that. And then this little case, I did use this case a lot, and I actually put a different sketchbook in here because first I had this sketchbook in there and I used it up, then I had this sketchbook in there and I used it up. So the next sketchbook I put in here was this one, and I've only done one sketch in it since I've added it, but I'll show it to you. Oh, it's a little bookmark that I painted. I did this one of Bolt Castle at Alexandria Bay. We took a day trip. Jason and I took a little day trip down there. And this is a great size for this little kit. And I laminated this card so that I could have a little more mixing room because this little palette does not have much mixing room on it. So I did that, and I used this a bit. This was handy. I like this little kit too, but wearing it as a crossbody bag as opposed to a fanny pack was much handier. And I hiked with this, and it was great for that. So highly recommend. And I use the water brushes a lot. I used the water brushes back at the retreat area, actually, because it's like, well, I don't feel like getting out my brushes. That was just a really easy thing to do. So yeah, the accordion book, I think I'm going to have to come up with maybe just a one-off project for that because I've already started working in it. I don't know, maybe I'll just gesso over it and do something different with it. I don't know. I'll adjust this later. It all fits in there just fine. And then we got some goodies there. So one of the owners of the Focus Retreat Center made this brush rest, 3D printed it. They have a 3D printing station there, so that was kind of cool. So I'm going to leave that on my desk for holding the brushes. I thought that was really neat. And then Strathmore sponsored the Inktober Retreat, so we got some goodies, which I did not start any of these because I was trying to finish up sketchbooks I already had going. This I bought at a place called the Frame Dames in St. Johnsbury, Vermont on the way home. It's a little golden tube gripper, and I got it because I'm always losing the big honkin' one that I have, and I thought this would actually be perfect because it's meant for a paint tube. So this is going to stay right in my little desk rack in here. That was $3. But these came from Strathmore. There's this fun long mixed media pad, which I think that's going to be a lot of fun to work in. It's 15 sheets. I like their mixed media paper, so that's great. We got 3 ATC size Stonehenge blocks. There's a aqua black and hot press. I've had their aqua cold press before in black. There's Stonehenge warm white, which I think is just like your drawing Stonehenge paper. And then there's Stonehenge white, which is again your drawing color. This Stonehenge is so nice for colored pencils. So that's kind of fun, and I like this little size. It's great for just a quick little sketch. I'll probably keep this. Oh, I got one right here from, I don't know what that one was from. Oh, I think that was from the Grisaille pencil set there, set of 3 that I got to review. So I'm going to keep these together, and these will be handy for when I need a little small piece of something to test out something with. And then we got a 9x12 pad of Bristol paper, which was really, 11 by 14. 11 by 14, even bigger than I thought. So this is a nice size. It's a nice smooth paper, great for ink, great for markers, great for water-based markers or alcohol markers. So yeah, this will go in the room forward in my regular stash, but I thought that was a really nice goodie bag, and yeah, a lot of fun. So I had a great time. It was mostly a self-guided retreat. The only kind of formal instruction was there was a live stream with Jake Parker, which was a lot of fun. And he gave me some good advice for urban sketching, and I'll show you just one of the sketches I did. He's like, don't bother with a ruler. You don't need a ruler. Just go out there and go for it. I went right in with pen, and it worked great. And I feel like it's much better than like what I did with Downtown Bangor, and that took me much longer. So I feel like there's definitely an improvement there. I also did this. That was my quick one, and I took a little bit more time on the detail of the door there. So yeah, I think it was definitely worthwhile. I had a great time, and I finished 3 sketchbooks and almost a 4th. So yeah, thumbs up to the Inktober Retreat. That was at the Focus Retreat Center in New York. I know they do quilting retreats and some like tech retreats, like coding retreats, and of course the Inktober Retreat. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Cool little place, a little gem. It takes a while to get there. It was an 8-hour drive, but definitely worth it. So there you have what. I'm glad I didn't bring a lot of extra stuff because I had plenty to keep myself busy with what I brought. And next time I might not even bring alcohol markers, or I might just bring a small set of alcohol markers and a small sketchbook. Like maybe this little set here, this little the smaller set definitely would have fit the bill. But the nice thing about having the big set is that I could share, and if anybody wanted to try them out, I didn't have to worry about like using up a color or anything while we were there. It was nice. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gives you a little bit of an idea of what you might want to bring next time you're going on a trip, or you just want something to sketch with. Like I said, this was so handy. This is about right, honestly. I mean, the sketchbook's small, but you know, you can really do a lot on a small sketch pad, and this is definitely going to help me get those weird small ones used up, I think. And I mean, you can get a fanny pack at a thrift store for $1, so yeah, definitely worth it. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and as random as it was, I know it's kind of strange. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye!